My gosh.
Oh, we're
We
live!
are live. So, hey there, everyone. Nick's giving me the titles that run the show, apparently. So, I'm going to take my shirt off, and Tremendous is going to do something with the shoe. I think eat it. I don't know. Nick's just going to sit there. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we have some rumors, and there's been a bunch of buzz. So, we thought we would join together and address this. And by buzz, I mean gossip and about 9th edition and Nagash. So we'll start around there, and we're also going to share some photos with you guys. And we also got, for some reason, Nick's telling me no crayons on the side of the screen. We also got some shout-outs that we're going to do for you guys. If you want to paint. Everyone else seems like Valorian's painting. Got Naren painting.
I got Lizard Man. I'm
want
painting.
to introduce yourself?
I not after reading the sexy one. I can't introduce myself now. Hi everybody. I'm Nick.
Valorian.
I'm here.
I'm sure you don't know any of us. So
who are the shout-outs? Who are the shout-outs? Let's get on to that.
Okay, so what we're going to do, which is a little bit unnormal, we're not going to show a reel. I'm going to just do some shout-outs, and then we'll put the links below later. And they're to the intro links, so it shouldn't be that confusing. Just go there and watch their stuff, because it is stuff that is good. Right now, I'd like to shout out to Midram and Luke Davis, because they both have babies.
What?
They had sex.
Well said.
Congratulations. To
as
the
far
new
as we know.
members.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
that's awesome. Congrats.
I mean,
All right,
could be like a
Warhammer
County
player.
kid.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. And there's some new channels coming up. There's SoCalGaming and Nicholas Bollaert. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but they just started posting videos. They're on like video 5 or so, and you should check them out. They're pretty good. And then these are what would have caught my eye recently. Of course, there's Daemonic Orchard, and there's a funny little thing going between Tremendous, Nagash and Zinch that you need to see. I'm not going to ruin it. You just got to watch it, and you'll understand. Reemington Steele, he's been doing some new stuff, and it's very good, so go check that out. William Page, his stuff has increased in production value and has definitely caught my eye, so I would suggest checking that out, and same with Gommo's Itchy Nuisance. And then, as for off-topic, Nick, you're doing X-Wing stuff, right?
Hell yeah.
How's that going for you? It sounds like I was looking at people commenting, and it seems like they're just all chopping you down rules-wise.
That's fine. I love it. I love it. Honestly, I think I became a better Warhammer player when I put up my videos and people were like, no, you're wrong. And I was like, shit, I'm wrong. And then I actually went and reread the book for the second time and then realized I was playing the game all wrong. So, but yeah, it's a fun experience so far. I like Star Wars, so that's a plus. I've already gotten a couple private messages from people that are like, oh wow, this game is cool. Where can I get it? And I'm like, practically anywhere. It's just you know, Amazon, Walmart, like it's the sickest game ever, and it's Star Wars, and you can fly some X-Wings and TIE Fighters, and I don't know. Just got to give some love to Star Wars, you know, before Disney ruins it or something.
The first time I played that game, I was so bad at it because I wasn't used to all the different dials and the way you turn. I didn't realize you go to the end of it, not just move to like where that line is. So I was crashing all over and.
Yeah, I was trying to pick up the rules by watching your bat reps, and I gotta say I don't understand it at all. There's like a card game on the side, and
all right, I'll give you a quick.
Like, it looks like you're gonna lose, but then all of a sudden all the X-wings are destroyed. I don't know. I don't get it.
I'll give you a quick rundown, and then I'll probably do another video at some point going further into it, but it's like Warhammer and any other game where you build your army based on stats and statistics and points. You set them down on the table and you have little dials, and instead of having Warhammer armies move one at a time, all of the ships move simultaneous, and your instructions for the ships are already laid out, so it's not like you're going to move in reaction to your opponent. You're going to declare which ways they're going, and then you play it out from there. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, like real-time kind of game where your stuff's going to move and whatever. But then from there you shoot each other, you roll some dice, and you have fun, and you make all sorts of cheesy, like, Star Wars references, like stay on target or hot shot first or something, so... It's a trap, yes. So
yeah, how many people do that? How many times do you hear that in a day?
All the time, especially since I'm getting trapped all the time.
Boss, get him off me! Am I doing this right?
I'm always getting the trap card. So yes, it's a fun game. I would check it out. It's relatively cheap unless you want to go crazy like me and just buy every piece you can possibly get your hands on, kind of like Warhammer. It's expensive then, but... You can also just spend $10 and be like, hey, I got an X-Wing, and Luke Skywalker's the man. So, that's all I gotta say.
Luke Skywalker's overrated.
So what else? What's up?
So I was also gonna say, for the last video, he does some 40K stuff, and it's also, not sure where the... You guys hear that white noise?
Oh, I hear it.
I don't hear it.
It's because it's you. Unplug your mic and plug it back in. Thank you.
Okay. Victor Hughes. He does more stuff than just fantasy. He does 40K, but he is a fantastic hobbyist. And if you want to learn some awesome techniques, I've been watching his episodes quite a bit, and he will teach you how to do things that you may or may not already know. And if you're a hobbyist, I would definitely go check that channel out. His videos run kind of long, so you have to actually watch them. It's not like this where you can just play it in the background and paint or, I don't know, whittle. I don't know what people do with their hands these days, but yeah.
We'll explain it to you after the show.
Stay on target.
So those were what I had for the things that caught my eye. I left the links in the side if you guys want to check them out.
Awesome.
And did you guys have any opinions on those, or?
No, because I've been super busy and not paying attention to anything. I'll be honest. But I do have these pictures. Who are these pictures from? Dylan?
Vince? Weren't they from Vince Vaughn? Or what was his last name?
Vince Vaughn. He's a hobbyist.
It was like Vince Vance or something.
Well, either way, these are awesome reindeer. I love it.
Are those antlers usually that long?
I don't think so. I think those are real antlers from a real animal.
Feels like they're compensating for something.
In the elf world, the bigger the antlers, the bigger you are.
Wait, can we brainstorm here and figure out where those antlers are from?
Feels like they're from my nightmares.
Well, either way,
why do you have them in nightmares?
if that's not from a kit or if it's some sort of kit bash, excellent job. I approve.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
What
very
the hell is
important.
going on here? Gentlemen, what is this?
I feel like that's the way wild riders should look. They should be riding something intimidating instead of deer.
Intimidating? I think these animals are cute.
I was just thinking that. Oh, the kitty. I'm gonna pet the kitty.
So let's get this figured out. Those look like thin bases, so they're probably Mantic Game miniatures. Do Mantic Game guys ride like some sort of cat feline mount?
The Angel Army, they have the cat mounts, I think. There's like women that ride them with spears.
Well, I love it. I love it.
It's a great unit. This looks really, really cool.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's a great idea.
What the hell's going on with these tree people?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love the foliage.
This guy right here, I know if he was to talk, he would have a deep voice.
Yeah.
Oh.
But this guy looks like he's got some like fish tank toys, and I totally approve it. I love it. Yeah. And this
Yeah,
guy,
man.
he's got some pretty stuff going on. I think this is a female tree person, right?
What makes you think that?
Because of these pretty little flowers.
Oh man, man.
The Afro one has flowers too. Maybe he's a treeman that's in touch with his feminine side.
I can get on board with that, I guess.
Maybe he would have a high voice.
Well, they are trees. They're probably asexual, right?
A wispy voice, if you will.
Oh.
That's a tree type.
All right. So, anything else before we move on to the meat and potatoes?
No. Were we gonna dedicate it to Tyler?
Sure. I don't have a picture
Should
of
we
him.
just-
But this is for Tyler and his trip to the other side of the world.
I feel like every time you say Tyler, you just have to overemphasize it.
Tyler! All right, so Tyler, this is to you. I hope you love Nagash because we're going to talk about him. And I think at this point, the only person who really knows what they're talking about is probably Naren. So let's hear it, dude. What's the shit? What's the shit?
Alright, so I guess we'll start with Nagash, and then we can go with the overall End Times type thing. Nagash is kind of a beast, and at first I was like, man, you know what's dumb? A 7-wound model that costs 1,000 points. The thing is, though, is that with the new Lord allotment of 50%, you can play him in a 2,000-point game. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, half your army.
How many
Right.
cannons do you think you have any points?
5, I believe, is the most, right?
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing, though. If there's one piece of terrain that you can't shoot through, you set him behind that. He's about a foot off the board, so he can see everything. Now, is everyone familiar with the undead lore that came out?
Yeah.
Not
So-
particularly.
All right, so here's the level 1 spell, for example, or whatever the signature. 12-inch range, casting like a 6-up or something, 50 points worth of undead models of infantry. All right. At 16, it becomes 150 points. So Nagash triples the range of the spell and triples the number of models you get. So on turn 1, you could feasibly throw 4 dice at the spell and get 450 points worth of zombies 36 inches up the board, aka 150 zombies.
What?
Yeah. So then you can follow this up in the same turn if you want, or the next turn. Cast on like a 16 or something, and again, 12-inch range. You get 200 points worth of chariots. So, but for Nagash, 36 inches up the board and 600 points worth of chariots.
What?
Oh yeah. Or you could summon a monster, say like a Terrorgeist, or a Mortis Engine, or a unit of Black Knights.
Who wrote this book?
Oh, well, that's the lore, and any caster can take it. But again, Nagash does it better than anybody else. So,
So are they gonna keep it from like going to like light armies, or is it just anyone can use this
oh no. According
knowledge?
to White Dwarf and everything I've read, everyone can use the lore, because Nagash has his return has been so eminent, and there are undead everywhere that any caster can use the lore. So, like, you could have Gracier, who knows lore of undeath, for example.
Can I
the
get
only
it from
downside
a
is-
wizard?
I guess in theory, yeah. Technically.
You just have an orc raising like 150 zombies.
That immediately turn on the orcs.
So Nagash is pretty cool in that regard, but the big thing that I'm wondering from the book is what's going to happen in the GT scene, I guess, because my understanding is, and everything that I've read again, this is not a campaign setting. This is essentially moving into Warhammer 8.5. So, in theory, the new rule is, as of the 30th or whatever, you can take 50% of your lords in your army.
So that's going to be an amendment to the core rulebook.
So I guess the first thing is my understanding. I mean, just like everyone being able to take Lore of Undeath. Like, those two things, to my understanding, are that that's the way things are going to be. Now, whether or not people comply with that is, I mean, it could go the way of Storm of Magic. But the complicated part
is two Nurgle Demon Princes. That's what I have to prepare for. Not one Nurgle Demon Prince. I gotta be ready for 2 now.
that is theoretically true. Assuming it's not comped out. So that's, I guess, part of the big news. But then the problem becomes too is now I'm hearing rumors that the next book out is going to be End Times Chaos, which, I mean, it kind of makes sense because if they're going from combining VC and TK, it would make sense for them to come out with a Chaos book that combines and updates Beastmen, Demons, and Warriors, essentially.
Oh, snap.
Let's see, and then here's the other part, though, that also makes me think that it's true, is that they're releasing Chaos models, and then they're also going to release Skaven models, and the rumored third End Times book is the Skaven book. So that's where the real problem comes in. All right, let's say they comp out End Times Chaos, and they comp out End Times the Nagash book, all right? What do they do when the Skaven book comes out? Are Skaven players... Right, see, are Skaven players forced to use their 7th? Which I'm okay with, because I love the current Skaven book. But, like, so what? So they're just going to ban, in theory, a whole book?
Works for me. Sorry, Nick. Bye.
But that's all theoretical rumor stuff. The other thing that's coming out in the book that I thought was really interesting was combined profiles.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I don't know how true it is or what the rules would be, but if everyone looked at those pictures I sent, there's pictures of the End Times rulebook that has Archon, Manfred, and Nefertata's stat line in them, and all of the characters are mounted on something, as we saw from the models that they showed, and they all have 8 wounds and like 8 attacks, 6 toughness, like 5 strength. Normally, I mean, you could look at that and be like, well, maybe, it's just, I don't know what you would say it is, but here's the thing. Archon has 3 wounds, and we can guesstimate that his mount would then have 5 if they combine the profile and made it 10 wounds. Or made it 8 wounds. The thing is, though, is that if you look at Manfred's profile in that same picture, he has 10 wounds. And it's well known that Manfred has 5 wounds in the VC book. So it would make sense. I mean, you can kind of assume that it's a combined profile, essentially.
Which I find that kind of interesting in general, if that's going to be the way of the 9th edition, or they're going to try it out, like trial and error.
I just think instead of fixing cannons, they're just going to make monsters and shit like that better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Which is also can be kind of bad too, because then you can go back to like Hero Hammer.
Well, don't forget, and you can also play 50% of your Lord choices, which, if they start combining these profiles, it makes sense if that's the direction they want to go, right?
You would start seeing dragons and manticores and bigger monster mounts again, because right now you just don't.
Oh, you don't like the Demon Prince? Well, how do you like a 9-wound, 3-up ward save, rerolling 1 soul-feeding Chaos Lord?
On a dragon, yeah. My problem is the point cost, though. I mean, you're looking at 600-700 points in one model, and I would imagine there's still some sort of insta-kill spell out there, Pit of Shades or whatever type of deal that are gonna still come out even with 9th edition being released. But it's an interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm excited about it, but at the same time, it's like a 10-wound vampire count on a undead dragon, barreling down into my infantry who are just ill-equipped. Maybe Malorian's right. Maybe 2 Nurgle Demon Princes is the answer. But it's an interesting idea.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing I see here is that I like the idea that they'd be going to the combined profile because it makes it a lot simpler. Before, trying to deal with what are you really attacking, what characteristic do you use? Before you had the cannonball that you'd have to randomize. Does it hit the rider? Does it hit the mount? Now it hits both. I mean, it works for the monsters cab, right? We already kind of have it there. So I like that simplicity. At the same time, though, I don't like the implications of how tough this could make these characters. From an orc side, I mean, I got my wyverns, which are normally useless, right? You never see these guys. All of a sudden now, I put my war boss onto a wyvern. It's going to have the 2+ armor from the rider. I can make it so it's steadfast. And, I mean, the big thing is that normally when you're attacked by a character on a monster is that you could try and at least kill that monster, and then you take away the thunderstorms and some extra attacks, and it helps you survive. Now, this is just one capsulated thing that you can't really do anything against other than just try and cannon it before it gets to your lines. It's almost like the Demon Prince in every army now, where if you don't kill it before it gets to your lines, game over. You can't stop it anymore. So I'm really worried about the return of Hero Hammer, but we'll have to see. Maybe I'm overreacting.
I can definitely see that reaction, though, because initially it sounds great, but if you think about the application, it can be overwhelming. I'm just wondering if they're going to find a way to equalize it with war machines, or if they're just going to keep the war machines the same and just be like, oh, it will work itself out. We're GW, we'll figure it out later.
Could you imagine a Tzeentch Chaos Lord on a dragon with 8 wounds and a 3-up rerolling 1's ward save?
That sounds almost as good as a Greyseer with 9 wounds and a 4 ward save in the MR2 and Scalm.
Oh, say it's slower.
And Scalm.
Oh, man.
You got 8 wounds to my Screaming Bell. It would be a shame if it regained all of them.
Wouldn't it be a shame if it rang and toughness 7 and up just shattered? Ooh,
So another thing
I don't know.
Too, is that we're looking at just particular rules. We still don't know what type of scenarios might be in this book and what other changes could also be there, right? So we're looking at a small little chunk, and it could be that once you have all the components, it all makes sense. But for now...
Absolutely, that's what I'm thinking. And even if they did go that route, at least make some way you can separate it in battle, so you can attack the mount or something like that. Because otherwise, that's gonna be ridiculous.
I got another direct translation, and this one is probably my favorite, and does make me feel like they're leaning the way of these unkillable lords. I'm unfamiliar with him because this was before my time, but Volten is returning, and he's in the Nagash book, is my understanding. Again, I saw the pictures on that one website. I had some of it translated by a buddy of mine. He's 350 points or something, 4 attacks, 7 weapon skill, all this other stuff. You can equip him with Galmaraz and full plate and a Barded Warhorse. So the guy's got 2+ armor, maybe 1+. I don't know if he has a shield on his equipment. I don't think so though. But he also has the same rules as Luther Huss, the Prophet of Sigmar. So he has the 4 ward save and the super battle prayers. He makes every unit within... and he can be taken in the Empire army. That's the important part. So it specifically mentions that. Only Empire. He gets everything that's 6 inches is stubborn. But here's the really crazy, really cool part. That makes me believe again Hero Hammer. So anytime Volten would take a wound from anything that would kill him, heroic killing blow, normal attack, whatever. Take 2d6, roll 2d6. If the result is 9 or lower, ignore the wound.
God.
The hell is that?
That is Volten, the chosen prophet of Sigmar. I guess he's some character that died in the Storm of Chaos thing, but because that didn't happen, he's back. And that is those are his special rules.
Huh. So...
Because it didn't happen.
Because it didn't happen. Well, maybe maybe he got resurrected. I also saw Crom the Conqueror in there, and I guess he's an older guy too.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm not sure, honestly, what is, like Malorian said, if we have, and we obviously don't have everything, but like with the pieces that we have, I mean, what do you guys think? Because I think we're moving towards an 8.5, where these are going to be the rules going forward, but could be wrong.
I think they... Oh, go ahead.
GW is going to sell itself out, so they're going to try to get us to buy all the models we don't have, and nobody's collecting dragons and giant heroes right now, so that's it.
I have lots of dragons. That is incorrect, sir.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's great from the one aspect, because we look at like all of our cool centerpiece models, like a Vampire Lord and a Zombie Dragon, or like a Screaming Bell, or, you know, like Malorian said, Wyverns. Like, there's just, you don't play them because they're bad, and people play cannons instead. And like, you're looking at a fantasy game, and you're like, well, where's all like the fantasy stuff? And you're like, on the shelf, bro. Come on.
Yeah, but it doesn't like increase other monsters like the Jabberslythe or the Vortex Beast or the Slaughter Brute. They're just still kind of like there.
Warriors of the Chaos End Time. That'll fix it.
Okay, Vortex Beast has a 4+ regen save and 20 attacks. We'll go with that.
I will take 3.
So, here's another question. Just a thought I had just now was that listening to other programs too, like Mr. Reefs, he's talking about how you could take Grimgore and you could take all these other special characters. Well, really, when you look at the Storm of Magic book brought in a way that you could have all these different monsters back in your army, right? And so it's kind of a way of just saying, here's all these monsters, here's a way to play them in your army. Now with this book here, we're actually hearing it's this special character and this special character and all these special characters, and this is how you can play them. Maybe all this book is a supplement that lets you bring all these special characters that maybe didn't have rules before, and now you have rules for them. So maybe, you know, everything is like, oh, this is the next thing, this is 9, and really it's just an extension, or like, here's all the characters, play with them, go ahead. So maybe that's what this is.
That could be completely possible.
You're crushing our hopes and dreams.
That's what
I think gave us hope. I don't know. You have an S on your chest right now, Malorian. Do you think this? They keep saying it's going to be like world changing, and I know Mr. Reef talked about it, and Nick, I sent you his link if you want to link that below as well.
I will. I'll never watch it because it's like 2 hours long, but
it's long, but it's interesting, and they're on a comfy couch. But anyways, beside the point, do you actually think it's gonna affect the world? Like, is it gonna change the way it's gonna be played, or are they just gonna kill off certain characters and say that this is how it affected it, or is it even gonna do that? How do you guys think it's gonna affect it?
You mean like the Warhammer world? Not like this book's going to have like Obama get a 3rd term or something?
Well,
no, yeah, or obviously Warhammer World.
Oh, okay.
Nagash will give Obama a 3rd term, so if you guys buy the book, I'm just saying.
From what I've read and heard is, it moves the timeline 20 years forward, and from what I've read, some of the big names, like Karl Franz is missing. He's just not there anymore. Balthazar Gelt is a necromancer now.
Luke is all grown up.
Yep. Cetra's dead.
He's unperishable.
Yep. Oh no, yeah, Nagash fucking breaks his skull in, I guess, and like feasts on the goo inside.
Huh. Apparently Vlad helps Empire versus Chaos, and then defeats the Chaos and attacks the Empire and kills them or something.
Yeah, Manfred, Archon, and someone else resurrect Nagash, and then Nagash is like, hey, bring my boy Vlad back, and they bring Vlad back, and Nagash is like, oh, hey, this Archeon guy is coming down from the north. Manfred, Vlad, you guys stop him. I'm going to go kill Cetra, and then we'll meet in the Empire, okay? And they're like, sure, bro, and then that's what they do.
And then Grimgore comes and gives him a headbutt, and that's a day?
Apparently, Apparently they took that out. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
What?
He's gonna write a letter.
Yeah,
I am so angry.
There was a part at the end that actually had it, and it just was whited out in every copy. I don't know who they but
They're gonna pull an X-Men and go back in time and change it all again.
Oh yeah, my understanding.
Days of Future Past Warhammer Edition.
They removed like almost all of the references to Storm of Chaos, like with Volten being possibly back alive and whatnot. Let me pull up what I had with the all the characters that died and whatnot.
At least Jean Grey's back.
Oh, good. Plot Device 3. We missed you.
Yeah.
The Deus Ex. Oh, this isn't working. We're gonna just go ahead and change everything because we're the writers and we can do it.
So here's kind of another question I had is that clearly this is all based around the apocalypse, and they have their horsemen, right? So they have Archon the Black, they have Manfred, they have Nefertata. Who's the fourth horseman? I have not seen a fourth one so far.
Okay, can I tell you my crazy theory? I want to say this so bad. All right.
Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
Wait,
Say something about ponies.
No, actually, it does work with ponies. So, Bretonia, they need a new book, don't they? Wouldn't it be interesting if some really famous Red Duke perhaps led them into the end times?
Well,
Maybe.
Nudge, nudge, hint, hint.
Yeah.
It's love.
I hope it's the Red Duke.
I hope it's Gorbat.
All right, that's a really good. I like that one too. That's all right.
Is it gonna be Vlad?
Could be Vlad.
Von Karstein?
Nah, we just pretend he doesn't exist.
No, he's back.
No. Did anyone use the Von Karsteins when it was actually a selectable choice in 7th edition? I felt like that was just kind of like the plain choice if you didn't know which to pick.
I fought against Von Karstein when that ring would bring him back pretty much every time you killed him.
On a 2+, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And then he'd just pop up in some unit, whatever, the next turn, and he had to kill him all over again.
Gotcha.
I'm over here. It's Whack-a-Karstein. All right.
What are your thoughts, Nick?
On what?
On everything we were talking about. So quiet.
He wasn't listening.
I already told you, they're just messing with the storyline, so the next company that buys them out has to fix it, but they're raising the prices, so we buy dragons. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. That's why you guys are here. I have no opinion. I'm sorry. I'll chime in when I think of something, but I think it's fun, but I skipped Storm of Magic, and I decided after the Archeon thing with Grimgore and all that bullshit, what was that, Storm of Chaos?
Yeah.
After that, I decided nothing will ever be as cool as that, so this needs to impress me.
Oh,
yeah, I gotta admit, that surprised the hell out of me when I heard that. I'm like, oh, Grimgore? What? That's awesome. He's like one of my favorite models.
Like, I would rather see them finish making army books and do stuff like Storm of Chaos, where there's a big, worldwide campaign, and we record our games, and we get coverage, and we have fun, and then for some reason the orcs win in a battle that had nothing to do with them. But I mean, that was fun. I'd rather see it progress that way.
Yeah, very well might.
Yeah, that's what some people are speculating this book might be, is one of those, but I don't know if it is. And
who are some people? Who are these people?
People that talk about it and say that it's gonna change. The whole thing about it's gonna change the world is setting people off. They're like, oh, so it's gonna be like a Storm of Chaos,
I think it will change the world, but I think they're going to have complete control over it, and I think that they're just going to write what they want in the new books and move the storyline forward that way.
It's cool that the storyline's moving forward, though. I like that.
I agree too.
I like that monsters are going, not only like the giants and stuff like that, but even monster mounts as mounts are going to be coming back and actually viable again. I really do like dragons, and the idea that I could have a dragon again is exciting, especially if it works out. Now, we don't know all the rules yet. We don't know if they're really combined profiles, but we saw how that worked with like monstrous mounts, like with the juggernauts and stuff like that. We've seen that. We like the way the toughness and the wounds kind of match up. Now, granted, it's apples and oranges when you're comparing an actual monster to a monstrous mount, but I kind of like the idea. Maybe in close combat, there's a way to direct attacks at the character as opposed to the monster, or vice versa. I don't know. Like I said, we don't know the rules yet. We haven't actually gotten a hold of the books yet, and maybe that's something that comes later on down the road. But what I'm seeing and what some of the just random forums that I'm on, just chatting with people and stuff like that, just, Theory Hammer and stuff like that, it seems like they're doing a lot of combination books all of a sudden. They stopped doing the hardbacks. They haven't touched an FAQ in over a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And they're trying to fix the monsters disappearing, and they're trying to do something to really build up a lot of hype and interest in fantasy over a long period of time. They're starting with the combination book, because let's face it, that's what it is, with the undead, combining Tomb Kings and vampire counts. Then next up, they're combining warriors, beasts, and demons again with theoretically with the new book. Then Skaven are going to show up, which have needed their hardback book for a while now. And then the next one, the fourth book or whatever, I could see Bretonnia and the Empire, coming together and stuff like that. And with, the ability to raise dead and stuff like that for everybody, kind of gives it that central theme, kind of like Storms of Magic. But I could see it. I could see them lessening the amount of books, raising the amount of lore choices you could have, combining armies. And then perhaps one of the theories that I just like, there's absolutely no foundation for this whatsoever, but what I like is that they're talking, people are like, well, maybe they're going to combine a bunch of armies that are similar so that they become viable again, because what would be better than Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts together? Just have people start buying Undead again and playing them. Same with, I know Chaos isn't having any problems with sales, but with everything going on, if they were to be combined, that's something that people have wanted for a while. And then with Skaven and maybe even Empire and Bretonnia merging, that was something that I know people have been asking for a while. So what if they were shrinking down the amount of army books there are so that they could release a new army, maybe a new race that pops up and saves us from the end times or something like that, and then 9th edition releases or something. Obviously this is heading towards a climax. The question is, what is the climax?
Does it make sense for them to combine books, though? Because really, from GW's point of view, whenever they come out with a new book, it's just straight-up money, because they know that everybody has to buy them. And so if you combine books, that's fewer releases you have.
I agree. Yeah.
Unless,
tremendous. You described a company that has no idea what they're doing and just changes their business model every 5 years.
Well, maybe this is their new business model, which would actually kind of fit into the argument. But if you are going to raise the amount, if you're going to change the percentiles for Lord, Hero, Core, Special, Rare, and then you combine your books, you actually will sell more models because now you have more models available to you. We've all bought armies, and we've made that first list, and I guarantee the list you're running right now is nothing, comparable to the original list. You have models on your shelf that you just don't use anymore because you're choosing something else for XYZ reason. So if they combine the two books and, you've got, just for sake, you got Tomb Kings and Vampires combined, and you have a Tomb King as your general, and then you want to try Vampire Lord as your general, you got to buy that model. You wouldn't do that if you were just playing Tomb Kings. So it's a possibility. You're right. It's all just based on ideas and people talking on the internet, which they can't put anything on the internet that's not true. But it seems to be heading towards a big climax. Even the title of this event, "The End Time is Near," everyone's saying, GW is closing, GW is selling, this, that, and the other thing. So it's interesting. It's like all the hype that they've drilled up for all this. It's kind of exciting because the new rules are coming out. You're seeing combined profiles for characters on monsters. You're seeing new lores popping up. Blah, blah. Like you said, 8.5 is being released. And nobody has an effing clue what's going on, and we're all excited about it. There's 5 of us on this show speculating right now. That's huge. When was the last time we sat around and just speculated about something that was being released? I remember when Triumph and Treachery came out, everyone was like, meh, This, we've only seen pictures in Spanish, and we're all like, ah! So, honestly, I'm gonna be the fanboy on this one, and I'm actually gonna get excited about it. And if it blows up in my face, well, Demonic can just kick my teeth down my throat again, and we'll call it even.
Spoilers, bro.
Oh, they've seen the videos.
I'm really excited for it. And like Tremendous said, here's another good point. I already bought the like $85 book and the 105 Nagash model. This isn't including when Nefertata comes out, and I have to buy her $85 kit, and then Manfred's $85 kit comes out, and then the Red Duke's $85 kit comes out. And like, if I want to play any of these guys, I'm gonna have to buy all of those, and so are all of the other Tomb Kings players. And then the Tomb Kings players who are like, oh fuck, man, I want to play 2 Terror guys. Why wouldn't I? Or, you know, the Tomb Kings, or the fucking Vampire Cons player who's like, you know what I really need? I need a casket and, I don't know, a couple flaming trebuchets. Right?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. The mixture of the Tomb Kings and the Vampire Counts is definitely something to look at. And I'm with you guys. I'm actually excited for it because I actually have a Vampire Counts army that I never use. So, and I read The Rise of Nagash, and I got all excited about it. So,
do you guys know that the current president of Milton Bradley, his middle name is Nagash?
Oh, really?
No, I just made that all up. I just made that all up.
Nope, I'm pretty sure it's true.
It's on the internet. It's true now.
You can't say anything that's not true on the internet.
So, Lauren, what do you think?
Valorian.
Hmm? About which part?
About are you excited for it? Like, let's say, you know, the next GT you go to, they're like, oh, this is an End Times tournament, by the way. Are you excited? Are you upset?
Well, as far as this one army goes, I don't think that the army itself would be that powerful, because if you look at it, let's say it's a 2,500 point game, right? You're going to have Nagash, which is 1,000 of those points. You're going to probably have one of those other horsemen or something. You need to have your core and stuff like this, but it's going to be very, very small. Now, of course, Nagash is magic. He can raise stuff back up, but magic is fickle, right? You have an average of 7 dice. A lot of these things, you're going to maybe try and cast one spell, and there's only really one good one, right? If you raise up a little unit of skeletons, well, that's already happening. So really, you're going to try and go for, I'm going to try and raise up a Terrorgeist. And the real reason why I think this won't be that strong is because, you know, first turn, you're going to scroll that, all the cannons are going to go for Nagash, and it's going to be something really difficult. I'm more worried about that 50% being applied to everybody else. Like I said, double Nurgle Demon Prince I am really, really worried about, and then just wherever else this could be applied as well, right? So maybe we'll see triple grace here. No, that will be more silly, but...
Well, yeah, isn't the Nagash model like 7 feet tall or something? And stands
He's
over
like-
every...
He's on a Terrorgeist size base, and he's like legitimately like a foot tall. He's like 20. He's like 20 or like 30 normal like 20 millimeter size figures tall. He's gigantic.
See, I guess like I don't know. I read the books, and at no point did it say he was like the size of freaking giant. Like,
Oh well, what happened? He has abandoned his mortal coil. That's actually not his body.
okay.
He's such a powerful necromancer that he can just meld bone and undead at his will. So he makes himself a new body that gives himself the proper grandeur that he deserves.
in the book near the end, it's kind of like towards the very end, he ends up getting addicted to warpstone because he makes him more powerful. Like, it's the easiest way to get like energized with magical power. So he just starts eating a bunch of warpstone, but it starts dissolving his body. So he has to eat more warpstone to become more powerful, but his body is like wasting away. So he ends up having to like make this huge shell to actually stay in it. Wonder if they're gonna keep with the whole warpstone addiction or not.
Yeah, if you look at the model, from what I read in the White Dwarf, his crown has a big black jewel of warpstone on the top. And his body, and like he has little jars around his waist, and apparently those contain his shriveled mortal organs. kind of like
okay.
a la the Mummy.
Because
Perfect.
where else would you put them? You know?
Yeah, but you wear them like a belt, like a box.
Yeah.
The
Makes sense.
warpstone is meth, just to get that clear, right?
Yeah, yeah. Warpstone is a translation to meth.
All right.
Nagash is a meth addict, and if you buy the book, Obama will have a third term.
All those Skaven used to be humans. Then he got into that warpstone, and
Yeah, yeah, and oh god, every creature. Go ahead.
So this is here to stay. This isn't a limited release or anything, right? Like, it's not like it's come or go. You're going to be able to get Nagash in a year from now. Like,
My understanding is that it is you'll be able to get them.
all right, so it's here to stay.
if they're not sold out.
Yeah. The thing, I mean, it's like, from what I've read, and again, it could just be all hype, but everything I've read specifically states, like even on the GW website, they're like, this is not a supplement or like a campaign setting. Like, this is the road to the end times. This is what Warhammer is going to be like. So, I mean, but see, the thing is though, is that like all of that doesn't matter if the players don't buy into it. So that's what I'm most curious to see. I'm most curious to see if Bollaert as a tournament organizer. I mean, are you gonna start running events as end times events like 3 months from now? If like that's how it's supposed to be? I mean.
Well, as a TO, it was almost the same thing with the 40K, right? The 40K got really crazy, where all of a sudden the new books come out. You can take your super heavies, you can mix whatever you want, and what the local TOs had to say is, you know what? Let's just let it go. We're going to let everything run, because at least in the start, you have no idea what type of crazy loopholes people can bring up until you actually let them do it. So at least in the beginning, I think you have no choice but to let it go. And then after, it's really hard to justify drawing that back, because all of a sudden it's just like the complaints some people have for the ETC, right? That's not real Warhammer. That's comped Warhammer. It's a different book. If you don't allow this supplement, it's not real Warhammer, right? So it's really going to be really dependent on your area and what they allow. The players.
I'll let whatever fly. I don't care. Unless I lose a lot, then I'll just bitch about it.
There's always X-Wing.
The only problem I have is that you have to buy freaking more models, and it's expensive.
Oh,
I
so
think-
like, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was gonna say something stupid, so you're probably more
Well,
appropriate.
like
person,
the
so.
thing that is really crazy to me is like the people who are going to be using like the lore of Undeath or whatever are probably going to be people who own a vampire cards army but also own another army. Because like, let's say you summon another Terrorgeist. Do you own 3 Terrorgeists? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you summon 40 more ghouls. Well, do you own 100 ghouls? You know what I mean? So.
This is true. So it's somebody that's using that lore not as undead and just using their undead models.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody actually owns like 700 zombies, because like, all right, you play Nagash, you have 100 zombies in your core or something, totally feasible, totally easy. All right,
And
now turn one.
they're gonna throw something out like has to be Citadel or GW brand. It's not just to be like you can have a Terror guys. It's gonna specifically state that it has to be GW.
And now turn one, you're summoning 150 zombies. Like, you need to have those models. So I mean, you're looking at a several $100 investment to play that army. You know what I mean? Because I don't have 700 zombies. I don't have 600 zombies.
Oh gosh. So we actually got some questions that we'll go through real quick. And did you guys have any last-minute words about Nagash that you wanted to state?
I hope he's flammable.
He's not.
No, I'm not believing you. Mm-mm.
What about you guys?
I'm good. I think I'm happy.
It is what it is. That's kind of seems like your opinion right now.
Yeah. I mean, it also depends on, like, what the viewers want. Like, if this is a serious thing and like people are gonna play these games and they want to see it, then I'll buy the book and I'll play it and I'll entertain it. But I mean, if it's just like freaking the Storm of Magic thing, I'll just bypass it.
Yeah, that's my thought too.
Yeah. GW, don't wreck my game. That's all I gotta say.
Don't do it.
Hopefully this isn't a way to just stop selling fantasy. It's sad that there's like a part of every fantasy player that's like, what if it is? The End Times. Oh my god.
Hey, I said this the other night. If GW just stops producing freaking Warhammer stuff, there are so many models out right now that I would be 100% happy if the fan base took over and made their own rule sets and updates and stuff. Because I trust that more than what GW does sometimes, and I'd rather play made-up rule books and rules that are a bit more balanced and fan-made by the people that care than the stuff that GW might throw out every freaking 3 months.
I agree with that. And it's not bias at all. It's just purely the players that are making the decisions.
I've never played anything but 8th, but this is pretty perfect. So.
So, what was that, Naren?
I've never played anything but 8th, and I'm kind of afraid for a new edition because I feel like this game is very, very well done the way it is where it is now.
Yeah, I mean, those of you who know me long enough, I am a 7th edition enthusiast, but we'll see.
Yeah, Warhammer is kind of a hard game to balance. It's really hard to just like balance all these things together and not have someone get pissed off about something.
I disagree. I think there should be a formula and some sort of plan when these books are made, and it can work. They just don't. I stand by that. I mean, there should have been a point system all along where certain statistics were certain points or certain special rules, but no, there's no value of let's just give them always strike first and all this bullshit and we'll say it's fair. Like, I think they could have done a lot better of a job balancing the game, but...
Well, that's hard too, because I mean, always strike first for high elves, way better than always strike first for wood elves. So it's really hard to have a set point system for that.
I guess, but I mean, everything is always in flux because always strike first wasn't always a big deal. As you know, if you charged, then you got to go first, or initiative order versus now great weapons count as always strike last, and it just changes from edition to edition, and I don't know. I think they've just kind of lost control of the balancing.
I agree with you on that sense, but I do think personally, just with this game being a whole and like people being fans of armies and stuff, that it would be kind of hard to balance. But I think they've just kind of not done as well as they could because they have bias mindsets where they want to sell the models.
They could do it.
It doesn't matter how balanced the game is because of luck. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how shitty your models are. I mean, Bretonnia still wins games. I mean, Beastmen still win games. Like some Beastman army like just won a GT beating like Warriors in round 5. Like it can happen because it's simply a game of dice. I mean,
I guess, but you can control your dice to an extent.
Right, but it's like poker.
Right, I mean, but you're saying is there's the one chance that a Beastman army or another shitty army just won, and that's because of luck, based on the fact that you have all these other armies that are winning based on skill and implementing the right rules and units together. And
no. The thing is that guy came in with a plan, most likely, and had something ready to go, and implemented his plan. And though he had a lower percent for it to work than maybe other players, it worked.
Right.
It's like poker. You can go in with pocket aces and lose.
Was his plan to distract his opponent with bright-colored units?
Oh, wow! Look at the shiny thing over here. That's ow. Okay.
I'm messing with you. I like you. You're an all right guy. I let you on here against my better judgment. I don't know.
What do you got to say, Tremendous?
I said my piece. I think I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. I want to see what they're leading to. This is a lot of pomp and circumstance. This is a lot of foreshadowing and combining, and it could go a million different directions. I'm excited. I want to see what happens. Maybe that's because I worship the Lord of Change. I don't know. But I want to see where it goes. I want to see how it all works out. And once the dust settles and I see how it all looks and everything like that, then I'll pass judgment. But until then, let's see what happens, because I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of interested to see how this all works out.
Right,
How about
right.
those viewer questions?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to get to. Well, go ahead and do round robin with this. Some of these we can do it and we'll just answer them as quickly as possible. From Marcus Lidstrom, he wanted us to discuss this, but I don't know if we have time to do that. So, if you could delete one army, either because of fluff or rules, which would it be? Or do you feel every army kind of has its rules? Let's start with Malorian and go down.
Mine's easy. Chaos Dwarves. Get rid of them. They're garbage. They shouldn't be here.
Here. Skip me. He said it perfect.
All right. What if Chaos Dwarves are... Let's take Chaos Dwarves out of it. Let's go with main armies and go with that.
I'm still saying Chaos Dwarves.
I don't know. I wouldn't delete any army. I think they all have their place. I'd rather see armies get added.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, why is Kislev not a freaking army yet?
Oh, they got destroyed in the End Times, by the way. There is no more Kislev.
It changes the world!
Literally. Okay,
Nick is now literally loading a gun. We gotta go.
Real quick. Eltharion is dead, the fire high elf mage guy. Thorak is dead, Cetra's dead, Morgana's dead, Walric Harkin is dead, Carl Franz is MA, Kalita fled, and Balthazar is a necromancer. Those are my spoilers that I had.
The only part that upset me was that Thorak dies somehow.
Who?
Thorak, the Ironbrow. Apparently he dies. Spoiler alert!
His anvil broke.
Yeah, dude, he just hit his anvil really hard, and shards got in his eyes, and the guy that's supposed to help him is just actually very incompetent, and he didn't know what to do, so he threw molten hot metal on him, and it's a gruesome story, but it's for later.
How is throwing molten metal on somebody ever going to be helpful? I can't think of one scenario where it's like, I know, if I pour molten metal on him, I'm going to fix his problem and he's going to reward me.
Again, he's incompetent. Or he just really hated Thorak. I don't know, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's a murderous little weasel,
Finally, I'll have the anvil.
My answer is Grey Knights.
Grey Knights?
Yep, there we go. There's my answer.
Okay. Marin, did you have a...
I think they all have their place. I mean, it would be easy to combine the armies, but I think that differentiating them is always going to be, I guess, the best answer. Just so there's always more variety. You know what I mean? And I mean, there are so many regions of the Warhammer world that aren't explored, like Arabi, Nippon, all that stuff. So it would be cool to see some of those guys come out.
We need Amazonians from Lustria.
No,
that wasn't a joke. Take me serious.
I'm sorry, Nick.
Bikini male. That's light armor. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, if you're wearing a breastplate and panties, that is not armor, damn it.
Nope.
All right.
All right. So follow-up, or I guess my answer for this would be, I want a army that is polar opposite to demons. That's not elves. And Nick was talking to me about this. We both had similar ideas about an angel army, because I mean, the one thing that 40K has that fantasy doesn't is they have the Marines. They're the core that hero that goes along trying to destroy the Xenos, you know? But all we have is, like, pompous elves that hate everyone and just alienate people, and then, like, everything's at war and crumbling, and it's all very sad and disruptive, and it's just a world of war, and there needs to be at least two polar opposites, I feel like, at least put in some thing of order, and it doesn't even have to get along with the other things. It could just be the thing that goes against the chaos, like bring the old ones back or something, or find some way to fit it in. I mean, there's so much room you could deal with on that.
So that's one of the things that I really like about Warhammer, is that it is set in a world, like, I mean, all the Warhammer novels begin like, it is a dark and bloody time, and, like, that's one of the things about Warhammer, is that it's dark fantasy. So, like, I mean, in, like, talking in, like, a meta type of way, like, I feel like chaos is inevitable, and I think that's kind of cool that, like, you know, you're playing in a doomed world. Like, everything sucks.
I can get on board with that. I like that.
All right, let's go to William Page's question real quick. Which battle reporter will be the first to have a bat rep with Nagash, and will they be able to defeat him?
I'll be the first one to do it. Me and my club are doing like a 40,000 point game, and but no, I'll be playing Nagash, so I won't defeat him.
An answer that was put up here. I am not going to name his name in case he doesn't want it. I don't know. He definitely didn't ask the question though. That's all I gotta say. Is my wager is the sustainable center, and no. How about you guys?
Lose against Nagash just so he bitches about it for 15 minutes.
Oh God.
So I play Nagash, and I fire both of my cannons at him, and only I could roll 2 1s to wound. And then he summons 36 inches away, 150 zombies. I don't.
So let me tell you why I'm selling my Empire army now. So.
Yeah, dude, he turns armies like crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does that. He's got it down.
He's got that whole Breaking Bad system down. He's a meth dealer. I'm almost positive.
All right, so we gotta wrap it up here. Lauren's gotta go, and we gotta sleep for lives tomorrow. But anything else you guys want to add, or if you want to answer that question?
Real quick, just in case there's anybody at Games Workshop listening, and that one question where he asked, what kind of army would you like to see come in? I would love to see the Cathay come into the fold, their own book. Ninjas and samurais. I would sell my warriors. I would sell my Tomb Kings. I would sell everything I own, and that would be the only army I would ever play. I'm sorry, I had to get it off my chest. This is like a confessional. I've always wanted a ninja samurai army. Oh, I don't even care if it's awful. I don't even care if it's like everyone's strength 2 and their armor, you have to re-roll successful armor saves. I would play it and I would be the happiest loser on the planet.
You're funny.
What if they do some war thing and make it like Ninja Turtles, and you just have an army of Ninja Turtles?
You would see nothing but Ninja Turtles on my battle reports. I would only play other Ninja Turtles. Oh, it would get silly. It would get silly. Oh man. I would LARP in Ninja Turtle gear whenever I played. It would be bad.
All right, we got to redirect from the Ninja Turtle excitement real quick. And what do you guys got to say? Last words before we.
I challenge you 2 other battle reporters, being Tremendous and Malorian, to go make a battle report this weekend of not Warhammer stuff, and just see what you come up with, like your kid's dolls or something. But make it a full-on battle report.
So War Machine doesn't count?
No, no game systems. I want to see like your son's like Hot Wheels versus your daughter's like Barbie dolls, and I want a full report.
I can do that.
I think I can make that happen. I think I can make that happen.
They're all monsters. No thunder sound.
Do we make this? Do we make our own rules up? Is there rules or?
I don't care. I just want to see a battle report of something not Warhammer. I think that would be excellent.
All right, we'll have that, and people will vote on it, and we'll have another break from our hiatus, and the loser has to wear a funky hat. We'll just go with that.
Oh.
A
I
wizard.
like one of Sustainable Center's old hats, and yeah, that'll.
So
I'm gonna click the button now. Say bye, everybody.
keep your eyes out for that. Later, you guys, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.